This is the Forum Entrepreneur Mastermind with your host, Dr. Paul Benson, and our special guest of the week, delving into the principles that take entrepreneurs to the next level of success. Hey guys, Paul Benson here. So I'm here with Darren Nichols. He's been a friend of mine here for the last few months. I got to know him going out to eat with friends, and he is the brother-in-law of one of my other business partners. And so now I've been working with Darren for a few months now. Yeah. And so it's been great to get to know you. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit to everybody and tell us about who is Darren Nichols?
So Darren Nichols is a 36-year-old single father. I work full-time as a police officer with the Salt Lake City Police Department. I've been in law enforcement for going on 8 years now. I've enjoyed being able to serve the community and do that. But it's definitely not something that I want to do for the remainder of my life. It's a necessary job, but not something that I want to do forever. I've got an 11-year-old daughter. She is everything to me. Her and I have an incredible bond and relationship, and everything that I do is for myself and for her. But that aside, I'm a gym rat. I spend a lot of time in the gym. The gym is my mental health escape. It's my everything. I go to the gym 4 to 6 times a week.
Yeah.
And so I love being in the gym and taking care of my health and fitness. And I've got a really big passion and drive to be in business for myself, and I've got a lot of goals and dreams that I'm ready to start working towards to achieve.
That's awesome. So now you're adding in this new stage of life of entrepreneurship, being in business for yourself, accomplishing things that can allow you to live bigger, live better, be who you want to be. Why do you want to be in business for yourself?
So there's quite a few reasons. One of them would have to be definitely because I want more time. Want more time with my daughter, want more time for myself to be able to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I'm tired of being stressed with money.
Right.
And I'm tired of telling my daughter, or even telling myself, I can't afford that. I'm tired of that. And
right.
So I want that to be different. I want to be able to travel the world. I love traveling, and I don't get to do enough of it. And I don't get to do enough of it because I don't make enough money to do enough of it.
Yeah.
And I know that being in business for myself, and going after the things that I want to achieve, I know I can get there. I know I can have more time. I know I can travel more. I know I can not have to be stressed about money anymore.
Yeah.
But another reason why I want to be in business for myself is to prove to myself that I can achieve whatever it is that I want to achieve, even though I didn't have the greatest things happen to me in my childhood.
Yeah.
And to be able to pass that on to other people, to empower other people, to show them that it is possible.
Cool. So when you're ready to start recording your own podcast, that's what that room over there is for.
I've got some buddies that, as a matter of fact, one of them lives here in Mountain Green, but 3 of them have their own podcast. They're all cops in my department. It's called
cool.
Domesticated Savages.
Oh, wow.
Because they're all married and have kids and everything like that. And they all just it's this podcast where they bring on different cops or different people and they tell stories just about law enforcement. I eventually want to jump on their podcast with them too because they're hilarious.
That's cool.
It's good stuff. So.
Have you even thought about what topic you want yours to be about?
No idea. But I've always told you I want to tell my story. Like I have a pretty unique story with, trauma in my life as a kid and losing my parents the way that we did. And then, obviously the experiences in my job, like 8 years in law enforcement, working in a jail and on the streets, and the things that I've seen, the traumas and the terrible calls I've been on, and, and then just kind of where I've come from to where I am now and, where I want to be. So
there's your podcast.
There it is.
So just getting in front of that microphone and talking, that's how it starts.
Right.
You don't need to have this amazing experience of knowing how to do it or all of that. It's just doing it.
Right.
It's like everything I'm always talking about. Just take action.
Right.
You don't have to everything have set and perfect and ready to go before you're just taking action, because as you take action, you start recognizing, oh, that sucked. I should do it differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
So I think that's part of, you want to do it, just do it.
Right.
And then at the same time, come on things like this, go on with your friends, and get that experience, because you'll go way faster if you're moving than if you're just trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Right.
And that kind of goes along with what we wanted to talk about today. We're talking about this whole month of the forum is about the vision. Being one of the 4 pillars of success with the forum is establishing that vision of what you want your life to look like, what you want your business to be, what you want your lifestyle to be, and all those different things. And so going along with that, I'm curious to hear from you. What is your vision of success in your life? What does success look like to you?
So success to me looks like, there's a lot of things, Paul. I think success for me is being able to have more time in my life, time for myself, time for my daughter, time for me to be able to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times with working a job, like I do, working full time as a police officer, I don't get a lot of extra time. I have to work a lot of overtime to make, play money, and so then that takes away time from my daughter and from me, and being able to do the things that I love to do. But I also think that for me, success looks like being able to empower others, and be able to, basically let other people know that you can come from really tough times. You can come from really hardships and traumas and all sorts of crap in your life, and you can make something of it.
Yeah.
You can make something of your life. You can be successful. It doesn't matter what cards you were dealt.
Right.
Because we all know the stories of the people that have been dealt really, really difficult cards, and they've made something out of their lives and become successful.
You can play victim to those hard cards. You can play victim to your circumstances, the situations you've been in, the way other people have affected you, the whatever tools you were given growing up.
Right.
Or you can say, I'm not a victim. I can rise above this. I can find my own path, and I can empower myself, recognizing that those are maybe some weaknesses I need to work through.
Right.
Or those are some obstacles that I need to get past. But your story is a great example of that. You've had those obstacles, and you're seeing now this vision of what you want to become. So that's kind of cool that you want to empower others to do that too. And then, I love that time is really your biggest measure of success. It's really easy for people to say it's money, it's the nice house, it's, whatever else it is. It's often very focused on material things, which that is part of the lifestyle that we aim for. Whatever that is for me or you, it can be different, doesn't matter, but to have your major focus be on the time that you have for your own things you enjoy, and the time with your daughter and people important in your life, that's huge.
Well, Paul, we don't get that back, right? We don't get the time back, and as I'm getting older, my daughter, she's going to be turning 12 this year, and that's mind blowing to me. I look back at the last 11 years of her life, and I've been a part of her life every step of the way. She is my number one accomplishment, and she's everything to me. And I have to work a lot, and I get my daughter as much as I possibly can, but I want more of that time because I don't get that back with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even time for myself, I'm 36 years old. I still have a ways to go, but I look back and I'm like, man, I look at a lot of the time that I guess you could say I've wasted. In my life, and haven't experienced things that I want to, so, and again, tomorrow's not guaranteed either.
Yeah.
So that's why I want more time, is because we don't know what tomorrow brings.
I'm hearing from you what your version of success looks like. I'm hearing your purpose, the reason for it, which is a lot has to do with your daughter. How can you take this vision or this dream of success and make it your reality where you do have that more time?
Well, I think that one of the things, and I'm sure we'll discuss more of that, is being in business for myself, and one of those those things being the forum that we're a part of, that we're talking about here today.
Yeah.
And just being able to work for myself. If I can create a business, if I can do things for myself, I make the rules, right? So I determine when I get to take vacations. I get to determine, when I have time off, if you will. I mean, perfect example in my job right now, if we're below minimum staffing, I don't get to take time off. I have to ask
out there on the streets protecting us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But if we're below minimum staffing, or if I don't have, enough vacation time, or either way, I still have to ask for permission. I have to ask for time off. Right. Whereas as most Americans that work a 9 to 5 do, but if I'm in business for myself and creating that wealth and creating those things, that allows me the ability to have that time.
Right.
Where I get to dictate what I get to do and when I get to do it.
You've seen my video for this month talking about writing your personal vision statements. Have you had a chance to do that yet?
It's interesting, Paul. I just a couple months ago, before you even wrote the video, I actually did just that.
Oh, cool.
I was challenged on a podcast that I listened to do something like that, because when you're putting together something like that, it helps you to be able to map out your goals and to be able to go after them rather than just doing it blindly.
I love that. That's so important to me as well, that I can review that on a regular basis. I can see what I want my life to look like. I can remember that's what I want to be. That's how I want to live. And so are my actions in congruence with that? Are my actions leading me to that vision of what I want to be? And over the years, my vision has changed.
Right.
Sometimes I'll get to a point where I've kind of reached the life I want in most aspects of my life. And I realize that I can live higher. I can do better. I can make a bigger difference in the world. And so for me, that's what I love about having the vision statement, is that it allows me to adjust my vision as life goes on and as I grow, as things happen, from sometimes caused by others, sometimes caused by myself, that makes me revisit what do I really want.
Right.
But I'm glad that you have that written down. How do you think writing your vision, you kind of mentioned this, but how can writing down that vision help you accomplish it?
Well, I think what's really important to remember that when writing a vision down, because I think a lot of people will write down goals and dreams, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have action plans, or they don't have, how they're going to get there. So I think with me, how it helps me is I wrote down, what do I want in my life?
Yeah.
And that's what I titled it as, and I listed things. And next to each item, I listed what I'm going to do, or what I need to do to get there, to achieve that. Because if we just say, I want $1 million, right? Okay, cool. Well, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
How are you going to get there? So it's important to add those things. So I wrote down what I wanted, how I'm going to achieve that, right? And the reason that's so important is because it's like I said before, it's a roadmap. Mm-hmm. If you don't have any idea where you're going or how you're going to get there, well, you're never going to get there.
You're just going to flounder around.
Exactly.
You might find a little success here, a little success there.
Right.
I see some actually very successful people that are floundering around, and they don't have a clear vision of what they want. And so they work hard. They're consistent in their actions. They do a lot of things, but they don't have that defined vision of what they want it to be. And so they do this and they do that, kind of all over the place. And it's amazing that they are so successful because I can see how much more successful they could be.
Sure.
And so sometimes it's even people that are having success don't have that clear vision.
Right.
But I love that you're doing that, because you know what you want. You want that time freedom. You want that time with your daughter. You want to be able to have a better financial freedom so that you can travel more, do things that you enjoy, and knowing that that's what you want, and then having these small goals that will help you work towards it are huge. You told me from the very beginning, you're one of the very first people that joined the forum. And so you told me from the beginning that you see this as a way to help you accomplish that. So tell me why you joined the forum and what you like about being part of it.
So I joined the forum because I want to be able to help create value for other people, and I want to learn. Yeah. So those two things for me are huge. I don't have a huge background in business. I've done some things here and there over the years, but I don't have a lot of experience in the business world. And I've always wanted to be a part of a mastermind group. And I see the value behind it for the mere fact that there are successful people. There are people in these mastermind groups, including the forum, of people that have been there, done that, right? And have gone through the hardships of business, building businesses, and had their failures, but then have succeeded as well, and I want to learn from those people. It's a big deal on who you surround yourself with. I want to be around like-minded people that share same visions and goals and dreams, and but have the knowledge, the know-how, and the experience. I want to get that from them, and in turn, I want to be able to pass that on to other people that I talk to about the forum that get in that maybe don't have the experience, right? I know that we can all in some way or another create value for each other, whether it's business, whether it's mindset, whether it's getting pumped up or motivated or getting more disciplined or whatever it may be. I think we have qualities and different traits and different, background and experiences where we can help each other create value for each other.
Right. I 100% agree. I have a lot of experience in business, but in having people like you on board who are passionate, excited, want to make something happen, to me, that gives me even more purpose. And it's surprising the number of things I learned from you and from people like you as we meet together and talk, because there's insights that are almost intuitive that I think that I've passed over because I'm very focused in my systems, the way I do it. And so to have people like you on board who bring a new perspective and who are super excited about what we're doing, that gets me excited to help you or to keep going forward. And so it's been a lot of fun. We haven't even launched yet,
I know,
but we've been doing it already. So what have we been doing? What have you been doing in applying what the forum is, even though we haven't even launched the formal program?
Well, one of the things is the 22-day challenge.
Started this month.
That you started this month, and I'm on day 3.
Cool.
Day 3 of the 22-day challenge, and it's going fantastic. It's really, really great because we have to develop habits, right? And it takes time to do that. But we also can't quit after those 22 days. We got to keep going, and developing these good habits, And so I've been doing the 22-day challenge. And
what are the 4 things this month? Can you remember off the top of your head?
Yep. So we got drink 8 glasses of water, which we equated to about 64 ounces a day. And I've been exceeding that. I drink a lot of water when I go to the gym anyways. So that's probably been the easiest thing for me.
One, you're already doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and this may not be in the correct order, but,
that's all right.
Put at least $1 away into a savings account or to something that's going to be towards investing or savings. And so I actually made a little goal for myself that each day I'm going to exceed that. So day 1's going to be $1. Day 2's going to be, I'm going to put away $2.
Oh, cool.
Day 3, $3. And then that's going to compound.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. And then another one is reach out to one new person each day, and express your gratitude for them.
Yeah.
That's actually surprisingly been the most difficult one for me. In the sense that am I reaching out to, a random stranger that I meet and express gratitude? Because that's uncomfortable, but that's good. We got to do uncomfortable things, or just reaching out to a friend or a family member that you haven't talked to for a while, expressing my gratitude to my, 94-year-old grandmother for sending me the Christmas gifts that she sent me. That's what I mean? Yeah. Whatever it may be. So that's been really, really good. Aspects of it that are challenging, but it's important.
Right.
And then the other one would be reading or listening to something uplifting that's like, for mindset purposes, business purposes, things like that. So a book. I spend a lot of time in my car, so mine's been podcasts. So I'm, at least I think you challenged one page a day at least from a book. But I start listening to a podcast and listen to the whole thing, which could be 20 to 40 minutes to an hour.
You just get going and you're in.
I don't want to stop. I love it.
Really, that's the whole purpose of these little small action items. The idea is not to read a page in a book. The idea is to get started.
Right.
8 glasses of water, that is hard for some people.
Sure.
But the idea is to do something small towards your health. Mm-hmm. To reach out to one person a day is not that hard in and of itself. Sometimes it takes a little effort to think about. But each one of these habits are actually kind of just small things. So why do you think just doing these little small things that get you started, that start developing a good habit, can snowball into something huge in the long run?
Well, I think that, again, it's like you said, starting those habits, things that may be uncomfortable for us, mm-hmm. That create discipline, right? Long-lasting discipline.
Right.
Because like we've talked about, it takes 21 days to develop a habit, right? But it does us no good if on 21 days of, for example, say the challenge is not drinking alcohol for 21 days. Day 22, I'm getting drunk. You know what I mean?
You're like, I'm done.
You know what I mean? It's just not, it's not sustainable.
Yeah. That's what happens with a lot of challenges. Mm-hmm. And I love to do challenges. I do some pretty hard ones. 75 hard is an example of one I've done in the past. Sure. I'm going to do again. It's a hard challenge. It requires you to really stay disciplined to do those things for 75 days straight. But we're going with something a lot smaller, kind of taking a different approach. These little things for 21 days that can create lifelong habits. And so that's why it's the 22-day challenge. 21 days to create the habit. On the 22nd day, we're saying we're going to keep going.
Right.
Now, it's okay to set habits that are giving something up we don't want in our life. But if it's something we want, either to get rid of or to do, that's my goal with everybody, is to just do a few things every month that fit those four parts of our life, which is our physical self, our mental, intellectual, spiritual self, our social self, and our financial self. And if we're doing one little habit in each of those and making just a 10% difference in our life this month, at the end of this year, that's 120% change in ourselves. We've literally completely changed our life by doing it in small steps along the way, where sometimes we make the mistake of saying, I need to change. Mm. I've got to give up all this. I've got to do all this. And so we go hard for, you said it earlier, 3 days.
3 days. And then you quit.
And then they're like, that sucks. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, and I think, Paul, what's important about it is having these smaller challenges. So much of us have so many things going on, right? You're running multiple businesses. You're busy. You got a lot going on, right? I work full time. I'm a single dad. I'm doing some businesses on the side, and trying to keep my health and fitness a priority. We're all busy, right? So I think a lot of times with people that haven't developed a lot of good habits, and then they all of a sudden go to this extreme, right? Of I'm quitting all of these things and I'm doing all these things. It's so easy to quit within a couple of days, right? So by having these small things, you're not getting so overwhelmed, but they're important. Right. And then if you can just do them every single day, by that 22 days, it's a habit.
Keep going.
And it's like, okay, well, now what can I add to that?
Right.
What more can I add to this? Because this stuff's easy now. Like now it's a habit, and it's just second nature. So now let's add a couple more things in here and better myself that way.
Right. So new 22-day challenge next month.
Right.
Same sort of stuff. Four small, simple things in each aspect of our life, and we'll keep doing it. Yep. We're not going to be the group that goes to the gym and hits it hard for January, February, and disappears. We're going to be the group that does the little things and gradually gets to where we want to be.
Well, and I can compare it to my fitness journey, Paul. I started at the gym 2 years ago, going to the gym again and working on myself that way. And for the last 2 years, I've stayed consistent with it. But when I first started, right, I wasn't bench pressing what I am now. I had to start somewhere. I had to start smaller.
Start with the
there
bar.
there was a little more than that, a little more than the bar.
Okay, good. That's good.
There's no way that 2 years ago when I started that I'd be bench pressing the 275 pounds that I am now.
Yeah, nice.
You have to work towards that. It takes time, and you got to start small, and you just gradually build up.
I saw all those plates on your leg press the other day, and I think I'd break my knee. It was like, no, yeah, you've built that up because you've stayed consistent. That consistency does amazing things for us because when we're consistent with something, we get better and better and better. We also develop trust in ourselves. I can do it. Mm-hmm. And so by doing it small and gradually working, we can develop that trust with consistency instead of going for something huge that we then fail and now we don't trust ourselves that we can do it.
Well, and the other thing is sometimes wrenches show up, right? We get a wrench in the plans or we get something that wants to, in the middle of my fitness journey, I herniated a disc in my back at the gym, right? That was 1.5 years worth of recovery, right? I could have quit. I could have quit the gym completely. Right. There was a month period after I first injured my back where I didn't go to the gym at all, right? And then after that, while I was getting my injections in my back, going to physical therapy, doing everything, I was still going to the gym, but I just wasn't able to lift as heavy and do as much. But I gradually
stayed in the habit.
I stayed in the habit.
That's awesome.
I think so many times people, when they're faced with something hard, after they're starting to change their lives and do things different, all of a sudden something hard comes in and then they're like, quit.
Yeah.
Things get hard and people quit.
That brings up a really good point. There's two competing thoughts out there that I hear from people. And one of them is, don't settle for anything less than the best. Just go all out and, just conquer life. And then there's the other one that says be content with where you are and be excited with where you're going. So how do those two competing thoughts play out for you? Because you're talking about sometimes you're just pushing so hard that when people have a setback, they crash and burn and they give up. And I see that sometimes, that we're so determined on having this better life, having more money, being healthier, being able to work out hard. We have that vision of where we want to be, and we're so hard working to get there that when it doesn't come to pass, it's easy to give up.
It's your mindset, Paul. That's the difference.
So if you can be content with saying, hey, I'm doing my best right now. I'm content with where I am. I don't have the money I want. Maybe I don't have the time I want with my daughter to do the things I want. I'm not financially free as I want to be, but I'm happy with where I am. At the same time, I'm excited with this higher vision that I'm reaching toward. And I love that approach for myself because I feel like it's easy for me sometimes to get disappointed that I didn't reach what I wanted to, or that things fell apart, or that a business failed, or things didn't work out the way I wanted. And rather than me getting so disappointed, I can step back and say, it's okay. I'm still reaching for that higher vision. I'm still going to keep pushing because I don't have that all-out attitude. I do work out all out to get there, but I'm still content when it's not quite there yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think one thing's for certain, Paul, if you quit, you definitely aren't going to get to those things.
Right.
I mean, you can set forth all these goals and you can start working towards it and everything like that. And then when the going gets tough and you quit, well, you definitely aren't going to achieve those things. That's one thing for certain.
You'll see people push, and finally, I didn't get there, and they quit. They didn't get there, but they could have.
I'm not happy with where I'm at right now. Well, you're certainly not going to get to where you want to be by quitting
if you don't try.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to the mindset, is having that mindset that no matter what difficult thing comes my way, I'm going to be able to push through it.
Yeah, and
there's so many ways to build that strong mindset. Through education, through reading, through surrounding yourself with uplifting people and positive people. There's so many ways to develop and strengthen that mindset so that when tough stuff hits you in the face, you're going to be able to weather the storm.
Get there.
And you're going to be able to get through it.
That's awesome.
Move forward.
So the 22-day challenge with the forum is already, you're kicking in with it. Yep. You're making it happen. You see the whole purpose behind it, and that's awesome. Another part of the forum that we've been doing has been getting together. I know you've been getting together with Garrett and Josh, and I've been there with some of the things you guys are doing as well. How do you find that those, meeting together and hanging out together, even just going out to eat or doing something fun, how has that impacted your path to success already?
It's been astronomical. It's really important because I've had multiple just FaceTime Zoom calls with Josh, and we'll talk about everyday stuff, but we get into some nitty gritty stuff. We have uncomfortable conversations, about the things that we struggle with, whether it be business or mindset or just the way that we approach life. And being able to have those uncomfortable conversations is not easy with somebody you've known for so long. Josh is my brother-in-law. He's been married to my sister for, I don't even know how long they've been married, 15, 16 years. So, him and I have an incredible relationship. But I think sometimes when you're close to somebody, sometimes it is hard to have those uncomfortable conversations about yourself, and point things out to somebody. Like, it's been really, really good to have those conversations with him and how I can better myself, and him telling me things he notices about me that he thinks that I could be better at, and vice versa, and how we can improve things. And then on the other side of that, having these calls with my brother, my brother and I are 4 years apart. He's my younger brother. We're brothers, right? We don't always get along. We don't always see eye to eye. We have different personalities, different quirks, different things like that. There's things that he does that bug the crap out of me, and vice versa. Like, I know I do things that bother him. So having these, and we have the same mindset. We want the same things in life as far as business goes and our freedoms and all those things. And so having these calls and talking about how we can better help each other succeed and to achieve those goals, and having my brother by my side to do that, to help empower me and me empower him, has been so incredible. Like, and it's helped our relationship even more. And just to be able to say, hey, dude, these are our goals. Like, this is what we want to achieve. Like, how are we going to do this? How can we help each other? Right? Yeah. Just being able to help each other and not making it about me, not making it about, and him not making it about himself, but just to be able to help each other out.
That's cool. So you guys are already applying this approach of the forum of working with people, them working with you, and just kind of getting that going. Has it made a difference in your life?
It has, because it has helped give me added motivation, because when I know that these calls are, when Josh sets up a call with me, right? I know I'm going to be doing this, and I'm not going to flake on him, and we're going to do this. We're going to discuss hard things, and he's going to tell me things that he thinks that I could do, whether it's advice or tips or whatever, to be better, for example, we talked about, two calls ago that we talked about, how important it is to just develop and build relationships with people, right? And to, even in just in business, not even leading with those things. Like, when I talk to people, not even leading on what kind of businesses that I do, but just developing a rapport and a relationship with people, because we're all people, and relationships are so important. So many times we get wrapped up in just telling people, hey, I do this, you know what I mean? Help me out. Yeah. How can you help me? What can you do for me today?
Buy this for me.
Right, buy this for me. You know what I mean? But in all reality, it's about the relationships. And so he challenged me to do that, right?
Cool.
So when I talk to people going forward, to just build relationships. Don't lead with business. Don't talk about business unless they ask you about it. And I started doing that, and I've already seen the difference that it's made. I've already had, even if you want to talk about like law of attraction type stuff, I've had people randomly reach out to me in the last couple of days.
Cool.
Say, hey, so I saw that you do this. Can you tell me more about it? And I hadn't ever even talked to this person. That's cool. So that's how it's helped in my life and impact me as far as like building relationships and whatnot. But it's also given me more discipline and desire to help those around me, because I want to help my brother. I want to help Josh.
Yeah.
I want to help you. and other people in the forum.
Well, that's what this is all about. And I've seen you already just in the last few months get way more passionate about your goals and reaching them, and way more dedicated to accomplishing it. Because you've written it down, you wanted it, but that's something I've seen in you is you have a higher level of hope that you can get there. And I think that having people like Josh and Garrett, myself, in your life, you've expressed that is giving you that hope and that excitement, but it's honestly does the same for me. And that's what I love about this whole process of being in business with people, and not making it necessarily about the business, but about the relationship, about we're going to accomplish something together, we're going to make things happen, and talking about principles that can help us accomplish that, doing the challenges together, being accountable to each other. All of that has been a really powerful thing for me. And I created the forum. I wanted everybody to learn these things because I see how much difference they've made in my life. But me expressing them to people, having now more accountability with the people I'm talking to, has elevated all of my businesses in the last 2 months. And I'm like, wow, this is literally playing out in my own businesses, in my own life, because I'm recognizing the things that I have started to neglect a little bit, or the grooves I've gotten into, where I can easily step these up, and these little tiny things just take us to that higher level. And so I'm excited to see where it goes for you. Excited to see what you end up doing with it all. So
I'm pumped.
Anything else you want to end with? Anything you want to add to our discussion before we close it up?
I just wanted to thank you for having me on here and being a part of this. I'm really grateful that you invited me to be a part of the forum. I'm really excited to continue to move forward with the forum and help others and just grow, and the challenges that come with it to help me become a better person all around.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here with us, Darren.
Thanks, Paul.
It's awesome to talk to you like usual, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon.
You will be seeing me very soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Count on it.
Thank you for joining us today on the forum. Don't forget to subscribe and message us for the chance to hear your story and share your insights with our army of entrepreneurs. See you next week